6th place.
Oh,
Räikkönen, for the 2nd straight race.
Boy, oh boy. That dash is a huge, huge blow to his World Championship hopes. I mean, I think he really felt after they tested that car initially at the end of last year, I think he felt they were in with a chance for him to win the World Championship. I really do.
Well, they put the engine failure on Räikkönen's car at Australia down to a rogue radiator on the left-hand side of the car. They said that it wasn't water pump failure. They went back and tested it. The quality control was fine. They said, we just do not understand how this radiator got into the system. Well, I can't believe they've got a second rogue radiator. They have got a design problem if that's a radiator fault.
It doesn't look like a huge major. I mean, well, it didn't look too good, does it?
No. Two gentlemen in the
opening of the Paragon, the most advanced and deluxe race headquarters in the world.
$250 million, it had better be. Oh,
wow.
Kimi. Oh, so much for the Iceman.
Shall we? The Ferraris and BMW Williams on the front 2 rows, but really more pain for McLaren.
Kimi Räikkönen has admitted that his championship chances are now a long shot. He hasn't finished a race this year, and that run of bad luck continued with an engine failure on Friday, meaning he'd have to drop 10 places on the grid. McLaren chose not to bother completing his qualifying lap, as with that penalty he'd be at the back anyway. David Coulthard does start 10th, but for Kimi this weekend is effectively a write-off, and McLaren's next improvements are 2 races away.
It's not going as well as we're hoping, but I cannot do anything else than try to drive as fast as I can. I anticipate.
Giving it the thumbs up, they've sent him away.
Oh, sorry, Ted, to interrupt you, but look at that. I think it's fair to say that that is possibly engine related. I know the Ilmore people back in England are pretty sensitive about us misdiagnosing an engine blow-up, but would you say that was a blow-up?
You don't know what goes in there. You don't know if it's hydraulic fluid getting into the exhaust, but it looked like one bank of the V10 engine had a pretty big failure. Yes, standing up there, no doubt about it. Ralph went out, but he wouldn't have pitted if he'd have felt the car was 100%. You'd do a lap or two. If Ralph pitted as a precaution, that was even more silly than nipping Sato into that apex. This is going to be a replay then on the overrun, under braking. So often where an engine fails and boom, off it goes. And it's when the engine's unloaded, some white pieces coming out of the back, also through the exhaust, also suggesting the internals of that engine have been having a talk with each other.
So 3 Grand Prix in the 2004 season, and the man who finished within 2 points last year of Michael Schumacher in the World Championship and came into this title race hoping very much to be a contender, Kimi Räikkönen, has had 3 straight retirements, and if Schumacher carries on at this rate, he's going to be 30 points behind the German when we go to Imola in a few weeks' time. Hopefully we'll get some news from Ted in the pits.
Before qualifying, McLaren technicians noticed Kimi Räikkönen's engine was about to fail. So rather than have it blow up, they cancelled his run, just as they did at the last race in Bahrain.
It's not as bad as it looks. I mean, David made
it's the 2nd race in a row.
Yeah, sure, but you know, this is the ups and downs of motor racing. It's tough, but we've been there before, and it's going to take a while to improve, but it'll get better.
Iceman, Heidfeld, and Ted has news for us on Kimi Räikkönen.
Down at McLaren, Kimi Räikkönen has retired. He's out of the Monaco Grand Prix. The team saw something on the telemetry. Something was not right, and when he came in, they were paying attention to the rear of the car. There was a lot of heat, smoke coming out of the back. I don't want to say it's engine if I don't know, and we don't know at this moment, but it's going to be either engine or gearbox. Still, a lot of heat coming out of the back of that car, smoke in the garage. But that's it, another retirement for Kimi Räikkönen.
Well, it shows you that there wasn't that much of a fuel difference then between Michael Schumacher and Räikkönen. Oh no, not again. Kimi Räikkönen, another what looks like some sort of failure, possibly of the engine or the transmission, and it looks like yet another retirement for him as we look at the race leader as what?
And there's Räikkönen out of the car then, looks almost certain to be engine related. Incredible. 1 World Championship point, there it goes, bang, as they head up there to the bit curve at the top of the hill. Räikkönen with a significant problem in the engine department, and out of the Grand Prix goes. 1 point in 6 races.
7. This is round 7, and it's 5 retirements, 2 Grand Prix finishes, of which 1's yielded a point. Now, I know there's a lot of restructuring going on at McLaren. They're not happy with the way this has been going. A lot of work going on at the engine department. Back in 2002 by outpacing Michael Schumacher, as you take another look at Kimi Räikkönen holding his head in his hands in horror. I'm not sure Barrichello's got the pace to beat Schumacher today, but it's going to be a tremendous scrap for the podium.
Just lifting off the throttle pedal, enough to throw your head forwards because of the drag of all the wings. That you can see the white parts there on Michael's Ferrari creating a tremendous downforce, but also a lot of drag. Was that a cruising McLaren in the background there? Kimi Räikkönen with apparent problems then. He was running sixth, in with a chance of some World Championship points. Has Räikkönen retired from the Grand Prix? Still coasting into the pit lane. If he swings straight in the garage, you'll know the story. But yeah, you can lift off a little bit early, let the aerodynamic drag slow the car down, brake a little later, therefore less hard. But why Michael Schumacher's harder on his brakes is that he uses the brake pedal more in the corners to turn the car and just balance the car up. They change yet another steering wheel there then for Kimi Räikkönen, presumably because he got some kind of gear shift problem.
Baumgartner just jumped straight into it when his car had problems on the grid. Meanwhile, Räikkönen pitting again, a third time this afternoon comes Kimi Räikkönen.
I wonder if they're struggling to get fuel in that car, because I think the last stop was out of sequence, and that's they're not getting fuel in. They're struggling to get fuel, I believe, into the car. Are they changing a electronic box? Ted, can you see anything?
Yes, they are fiddling with the electronics, and it looks like also it may be the airline. No, in fact it is an electronics. There's a wire coming out and a box into there, so it's either the battery or some sort of electronics reset on there. They did put a little splash of fuel in there, but only a tiny bit of fuel.